everybody. I hope that whatever time it is or day that you are doing very well. It is a very gloomy, foggy, rainy, dark day, which is just, I am all about, very much encompasses the spirit of Halloween. So I'm kind of just soaking that in. My name is Jessie. My family and I live in the middle of the Ozarks, where we've got a homestead that we are just continually growing and improving upon as each and every day passes. And I thought that I would just create a channel that kind of shares our experiences with y'all and in hopes to kind of create a bit of a community along the way. So I hope that you would join us. I would greatly appreciate if this is the type of content that you like and you would want to see more of it and be notified when any new videos are posted. If you would subscribe and like, and if you've got any suggestions or comments, one of my favorite things is hearing from y'all and just getting to know you. So if you would leave a comment below, I will surely meet you there. Today is a bit of a mix where I will be decorating our dining room table and sharing with you how we decorate the upstairs playroom bookshelves. Also, I'll be taking you along with us as we do a little bit of antiquing. I wanted to do a specific episode where I kind of shared with you each and every piece that I found along the way during this Halloween season, but it just came so quickly. I will have to move that on to our Christmas series, which I've already kind of started mapping out in my head. I'm really excited about that, so stay tuned. That will be pretty shortly after Halloween. But some of y'all had expressed interest in seeing the behind the scenes of our antiquing and vintage shopping, so I wanted to put in a condensed version of it. With all of that said, here we go. Okay, so if you've watched any of my videos, you are well aware that I have got to completely empty and clean whatever it is I am decorating beforehand. And if I don't have a vision for the space, this really helps me kind of create one or visualize it. But for this project, I already kind of knew what I was going for. I wanted to do something that was really simple. I like to change things up every year to keep it interesting and kind of stretch my creative muscles. I had collected these antique antlers throughout this past year, and I knew it's something that would be really cool and interesting to use for the tables. So that's kind of where I started, and you can see I always begin with the largest pieces first and just go from there. I like to do this in moments that I am not rushing, that I've got some time to myself. This is something that is really relaxing for me. Sometimes it may take a bit to kind of create whatever it is that you are seeing in your mind. But if you are kind of patient with yourself, if you step back, maybe you take a few breaks, you need a moment to kind of clear your thoughts and just stick with it, and eventually you will get to wherever it is that you're wanting to go. You can see that I'm obviously not rushing at all, and I'm just moving things around until I'm happy with wherever it is that I place them. I wanted to go for a very neutral and calming palette in the dining room this year. So instead of using colorful pumpkins, I went with white. And it's a really good option if you're looking to add natural elements. I am all about going to the pumpkin patches and choosing our beautiful varieties of pumpkins, but the grocery stores have really stepped up their game, and they have had all different varieties and colors this year, and I found that they are a lot more affordable if that's something that you are looking for. And you can see here that I am grabbing a pumpkin from the porch. I had an idea where I wanted to use a particular antique that I had found as the center point of the table, but ultimately decided that I just wanted to go for a more simple route. This is a prime example of how I want to allow myself room to be flexible. I may have an idea in my head and a vision that I'm trying to create, but if I don't necessarily like the way or the direction that it's going, I always make sure to allow myself to pivot and get to a point to where I am the most happy with whatever it is that I am creating. If you saw my last video, you will see that I am using this same type of candlestick again. I have a few sets of these. If ever I find them, I always make sure I grab them because I can use them in so many rooms in a million different ways and in every holiday season. So I make sure I pick them up if I see any of them. I would highly recommend. I come across them all the time, so keep your eye out when you are visiting your local antique shops, and I'm sure you will eventually come across them as well if it's something that you're interested in. Just by simply switching out the candle itself, it changes the mood completely. When I'm hosting summer parties, I will use an ivory candle, and for Halloween, to kind of create that more ominous effect, I will put black inside of them, and during Christmas time I will add a cream candlestick, and it just again changes it completely. I really like this look because if you just tweak little elements, you will find that it will fit within every season. For instance, those little bats kind of made it more of a Halloween look. If you remove the bats, they could it could be a perfect centerpiece for your Thanksgiving table. And by removing the black candlesticks and putting white instead, it would be a really pretty Christmas look as well. So I really like to use things that can be very transitional from season to season. And you could see in those last pieces of clips that I add. I always make sure to decorate my plants as well, and add little stakes inside of the pots, and it just adds those little special touches. So if you are brave enough to step across the giant wolfhound, who is always surely to block whatever way you're trying to go, here is the final look for our Halloween autumn dining room. So I thought it would be fun to add one of our favorite pastimes in the Halloween season, and that is caramel apple making. We do have our own recipe, but it's not exactly foolproof, so we tend to normally fall back on the store-bought easy version of caramel apple making, and that's just microwaving the little caramels that you can find in the stores. But if y'all have any suggestions or tips that you could give us as for how to make the best homemade caramel apple, if you have any recipes or anything like that, I would surely appreciate it and for sure give it a go. But yeah, I hope that you are enjoying all those fall activities. We always create a list, but somehow we never are able to check everything off in time, but we definitely give it a good go. But yeah, so here's a little bit of the visuals of that process. Next up will be our bookshelf decorating for the kids, and after that a few clips and tips I have for antiquing. This is a bit of a longer video as I'm trying to add everything that I have for Halloween before the actual holiday, although there will be some things that have to wait. So feel free to push pause and grab you a snack. I can tell you I am eating constantly, being as pregnant as I am, so I will definitely be joining you on that. So now that we've grabbed our favorite autumn snack and maybe some kind of pumpkin spice flavored drink, let's head up the stairs, around the banisters, past whatever animal may be lurking around the corner, and into the kiddos' playroom. We have 1,000,001 children's books. I think I may like them just as much as the kids do, no matter how old they get. I always enjoy reading them before bedtime to them. There we go. So yeah, every season it just gives me an excuse to change out the bookshelves. You can see how we started off in the summer, warmer seasons, how we normally like to decorate the bookshelves based on whatever time of year it is. That is what the shelving unit looks like. When I built this house, the two things that I had drawn out first were the foyer. As you just saw, I knew I wanted to have an overlooking wraparound balcony, and I knew what I wanted the kids' bookshelves to look like. So those were the very first things that I had mapped out in my mind when I drew the plans of this house. So first steps, clear everything away. Eventually I will stop saying that part because y'all will have it down packed by then. And then after we've done that, we like to take out all of our seasonal books for whatever time of year that is. You'll see in a second, or if you didn't already see, there are cabinets up top, which I intentionally put in to store all the books that we wouldn't be using during that time of year. And so we pack away all those old or books from the previous season and take out the ones for the upcoming one. And I decided to let the kids just go to town on this, but Lola had stopped me and said, hey, I'm having books that look alike right by each other. How do I fix this? And so I said, okay. So I decided to make a teaching moment and kind of show her how I like to do that. And how I do that is, first of all, I separate all the books by colors. And obviously this is not like a design, a true design tip or trick. It's just what I like to do. And I will start with like the oranges, for instance, and we spread all of those out. And then we move on to the next section of colors. And for here, it was more of the purples and the blues. And so we added that layer of books next, and so on from there. So yeah, just separate your books in layers, and then you'll be sure to have them spaced out in a more even and interesting way. And when it's all said and done, here is what the books kind of look like when they're all put into place. After we have put all the books where we're wanting them to go, then we add a few special touches depending on, again, the season. I like to use handmade or natural things here. Also, you can see these bins are amazing. If we have leftover books of that season, then we will put those books where they are easily accessible for the kids to grab and read. I also normally like to add handmade things that I have made up for the kids. Like this, for instance, I knit like a mad woman, and my favorite thing is to knit things for the kiddos. Sometimes they'll have a little request for me of some kind of stuffy they want me to make, and I will secretly have that going when they're not around. And it's always fun to have them wake up to that little item next to them when I am finished. So yeah, that's just something special that I like to do. And also add little pieces like that. That little wooden ghost was something that we found this year when we went antiquing together, and of course it have a celebratory handstand in the end. So yep, and this is one of my favorite spaces in the playroom. We usually have a little bit more blankets out with some furry skins and things like that we have, but I haven't put everything in yet when I made this video, but you can see it's quite the cozy space for a quiet book reading session. So this is our kids' bookshelves. Okay, y'all, last and final portion. Let's head our way to some of our favorite antique shops. As you saw in our last video, one of my favorite things to purchase from the antique stores are vintage prints or anything that will go inside of a picture frame. It is one of the fastest and easiest ways to change up your design in your room. You can see Lola actually found this cute little vintage hand, and kind of show you how we use them along the way. But again, like I kind of shared in the last video, I have used old newspaper clippings. Obviously here is a vintage print from an old book, magazine clippings from old magazines, creepy photos, which I come across all the time when I'm antique shopping, and also you can print things off the internet as well. I was doing this section and I didn't realize how many pieces I actually had inside of my frames, and so I was just going to show them to you as I kind of talk about it. But yeah, I'll share this tip once again that I shared in my last video, and that is whenever you are if you've downloaded a PDF from the internet, one of the things that I like to do to make it look a little more high-end and authentic is bring in my own paper into the local print shops. And my favorite kinds of paper are like natural cotton paper that I usually find off of the Etsy shops. If you just search in handmade paper, you can quickly find that. Or you can see in this one, this was just an Amazon vintage inspired poster. That is probably the most affordable option that you can go, but there's just a million different ways that you can use framed items, as long as you have frames that are versatile and go with anything that you put inside of them. So that's something that I always look for, is things that I can put inside my frames and change up the look of the room that way. That's just a quick, easy, and affordable way to change things up and add an instant difference to your room. So when I'm going into antique shops, I don't necessarily go in with a plan. Obviously, when it's Halloween or Christmas, I will set out to look for particular items. But the thing about antique shopping is that you don't ever know what you're going to find. It's one of the things that can be a little bit more challenging, but also makes it that much more exciting. So when I do come across things that I can use in the future, I grab them. And so I'll have places in my house that are dedicated to different seasons. So when I find certain items that will go within those particular times of year, I will store them away there. So yeah, don't ever be disappointed when you don't find exactly what you're looking for. The name of the game in vintage and antique shopping is having patience and going in pretty regularly. That's how I find things, is I am always just keeping my eyes peeled and always going in and out of these shops. So I've got quite a bit more to share, but I don't want to make a video that is too long for anyone to be interested in. So we'll have to save all those little tidbits for the next upcoming videos. But I will say that I've got Christmas ones already in the works, so stay tuned for that. But until then, I hope that you really enjoy your Halloween. Today we will actually be finishing up some of our Halloween costumes and putting on the finishing touches of those. But anyway, I would like to thank you again for joining us. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment, and hit that notification bell as well. Thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next adventure. Bye-bye.